The rule of thumb is you should stay under the umbrella of your upline support, your support team, at least until you're ready or currently doing this full time. If you still are working another business, like a traditional business, and you're trying to build your networking organization, that's probably not a good time to break off onto your own and start building your own Facebook groups and your own team and all that, because anyone that will tell you that has done this, it is a ton of work. When you break away from the existing team to build your own team, it is a ton of work, a ton of responsibility, and it's more than you ever would think it is. Hey, 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 what's up? Welcome back to the podcast, guys. I'm excited to chat with you today. I've got another topic that I think is going to help all of you that are looking to build teams. That's what the Freedom Factory is all about. Obviously, it's the leverage, right? The leverage that you maybe have been looking for in your network marketing business and not able to achieve yet. And today's topic, I'm going to share with you just my experiences with trial and error, what we've tried. I mean, that's how you learn, you fail. You can read books all day, but the best way to learn is by failing and then not repeating that same mistake over and over. Listen, it's okay. In fact, you might want to surround yourself with entrepreneurial leaders that fail and fail a lot, but do not surround yourself with entrepreneurial leaders that keep failing by doing the same thing over and over. And so failure is just part of the road. It's part of the process of getting where you want to be. And the faster you fail, the faster you learn. The faster you learn, the faster you get where you want to be. That's just the way it is. And communication is extremely important in our profession, especially with your team. And at times when we get busy, uh, we can maybe forget about who we're communicating with and when's the last time we talked to them. And it's really, really important that you kind of have a strategy around this. And I know sometimes, life gets busy and things kind of pop up and we get distracted. But there should be kind of an alarm going off in the back of your head of how often you're communicating with people. And so I'm going to give you some tips today on a few different ways, really four different ways that you can communicate with the team and ways you should be communicating with the team. So I'm going to start with the highest of priority. So if you've got a team, right, meaning you've got a consultant or a distributor that's joined you, you've now got a team. It's you plus them. The highest, most effective way to communicate is one on one. So just you and that one person engaged in a conversation. Of course, as your team gets bigger, you're not going to be able to have a one-on-one conversation with every business partner. I mean, for, my case, we've got thousands and thousands of business partners in our organization, and it just no one would no one would say I should be communicating with every one of those people. Now, of course, as those people step up into leadership, as they do the things that we've taught them, as they progress in their own leadership journey, well, then eventually, if they are making a big enough impact into the community, building the business, then yes, at some point, we'll have one-on-one conversations. I can think of a number of people in my organization right now that I didn't talk to for the first 3 or 4 years, as I mean, just in passing, yes, hello, how you doing, that sort of thing, but now have earned the right for me to be having one-on-one conversations with them just because of what they've built. And I really, really enjoy those conversations. So one-on-one is the most effective way to communicate, to lead, to inspire, to collaborate, all those things. And I would suggest that you schedule out blocks of time to do this. So I'm a big fan of scheduling blocks of time for recruiting. If not every day, for sure every week, you're blocking out time, meaning there's no distractions. You know, the night before or 2 nights before, this is my time. I'm going recruit in this block of time. I'm going to suggest you do the same thing for one on one communication with the leaders in your organization that mean a lot to the success that you have now and the future success. And so when I mean one on one, I'm not talking about in group chats. Okay. That is not one on one conversation. We'll talk about group chats in just a little bit, but schedule the time. And you can multitask this. Just this morning, I was out getting my walk in, real aggressive because I don't jog anymore. Aggressive walking to try and get my body moving, and I had 40 minutes one-on-one conversation with one of our leaders. And I make it a habit while I'm out on these walks to do that, where I'm multitasking. I'm taking care of what I need for my physical health, but I'm also taking care of what I need for the health of our organization. Um, just this past week, I made a long drive to the other coast of Florida. On the way out there, I made these calls. And on the way back late at night, because we have a global team, I'm able to work in different time zones. I was able to do on the way back, have these conversations one on one. And I'm telling you, they are extremely, extremely important to the success of your organization. And so, what I've always done is I've looked at my organization and identified who the top leaders are in each of one of those legs or organization. And I have a note in my phone to make sure I talk to these people. So, it may be 15 people ish for me, maybe 20 ish that I'm trying to have high levels of conversation with on a regular basis out of thousands and thousands of people. So one on one, don't miss that, guys. If you've got any consultants on your team and they're important to you and you want to keep them around, communicate with them. Because if you're not communicating with them and they're a leader, somebody else will. Somebody else will be telling them the things that they want to hear, maybe not what they need to hear. And they may get distracted. So remind them how important they are to you. Remind them how important they are to the team, the community, the future planning, the strategy. Do all of that in those conversations, making sure you've got that healthy collaboration because that's what people want in your team, guys. As a leader, you want leaders. So when you're building up leaders in your organization, they want to feel like they're a part of what we're doing as a community, not that it's just you at the top calling the shots and everybody else is going to do what you say. No, that's what these conversations are about. To dig in, to talk to them, and to kind of get their perspective on things. So one on one, the best way to communicate with your team. Now, because I've said you can't communicate with thousands of people, you may not even be able to communicate with hundreds. And that's where text groups come in. So, on either in text messages, you might be able to put groups together. I know Messenger is used to put groups together, WhatsApp is used to put groups together. Maybe using Telegram, some other platform. We tend to use WhatsApp because of our global team, and we're able to use that one app across the globe pretty seamlessly. So we like doing our groups in WhatsApp. And so I will have leaders chats for certain countries. I will have leader chats for certain strategies that we're implementing in sales. And so I'm probably managing or participating in, if I had to guess, I'd say about a dozen chats where I'm in there and things are going on that I'm a part of. And in these chats are anywhere from 20 to over 100 people in these chats. and I'm in there every day, and it's highly effective because people, even though they're not getting that one-on-one time with you, they still know that they have access to you. They can message you directly in there. You're responding to them. Maybe you're dropping in some voice memos. I love voice memos inside those groups. It's really, really important that you do that. One word of advice: if you're going to do the bigger chats and you've got a bunch of your organization in that chat from different lines, it's really important that you monitor that chat really well, because always in a big group, in a bigger group, as your group gets bigger, certain lines of your organization are going to be doing better than other lines of your organization. And sometimes things can be said that can step on the toes of other people within your organization, and it affects the overall vibe in the group. So be a little careful when you're mixing in these group chats, different lines of your organization. And if one organization is kind of struggling, maybe the leader is not doing what they're supposed to be doing, maybe the leader's distracted. You may want to kind of grab that group and start your own chat with just that group, and maybe kind of shelter the other group from that organization. Seen that happen too. So I love group chats. It allows me to leverage my time. I can talk to dozens or hundreds of people at one time. It's a great way to stay connected to your team, and I highly encourage you guys, if you've got 5 or 10 or 20 or whatever consultants in your organization, if you got more than one, if you got two or three or more, you might want to start a group chat with them, and it's a great way to leverage your time and communicate with them on a regular basis. All right. The next way is in your Facebook groups. Once you start to develop a team, at some point, you may want to have your own Facebook group just for your organization. And each one of you will know when it's the right time to do that. I always say that, just as a rule of thumb, you should never break off onto your own groups, like outside of your uplines, um, team group. Like all the uplines inside of Facebook will have team groups, right? Where they're putting in all of the things that you need to know for the week, the month, and how to build. So there's this Facebook group for the existing consultants. Typically, they'll have other groups too, prospecting groups for customer acquisition. I'm not talking about the customer acquisition group. Well, actually, you could lump this all together. What I'm about to explain to you. It's probably a whole nother podcast. The rule of thumb is you should stay under the umbrella of your upline support, your support team, at least until you're ready or currently doing this full time. If you still are working another business, like a traditional business, and you're trying to build your networking organization, that's probably not a good time to break off onto your own and start building your own Facebook groups and your own team and all that, because anyone that will tell you that has done this, it is a ton of work. When you break away from the existing team to build your own team, it is a ton of work, a ton of responsibility, and it's more than you ever would think it is. And you have to be prepared for it. So I know, sometimes you reach a point where maybe the uplines aren't doing exactly what you want and you think things could be better. And you may be right. You may be absolutely right. Things could be better. But just know that it's a lot of work. What your upline is doing is a tremendous amount of work, a tremendous amount of time and planning and even financial investment into the group that you don't have to do, because you're leveraging their efforts. So be careful breaking out and doing your own Facebook group too early, and your own team too early. That is absolutely a whole nother podcast I'm going to do for you guys. But if you have done that, Facebook groups are a phenomenal way for you to communicate and keep people up to date, make the team feel as if it is a true community. You're going in there live. You're sharing things that are going on in the team. You're keeping the enthusiasm up. And do not use that Facebook group just for announcing when the next call is, or announcing the latest rank advancement, or announcing the latest team member that just joined the team. Do not do that. That's necessary things to have in the group, but you should be using that group to talk to them one on one, share your excitement, share some of the wins, doing some interviews with some of the other people that are in the group. And the beauty is those things live 24/7. People can get into that group when they have time to get into the group. And so, Facebook groups is a tremendous way for you to be able to communicate with your organization. Lastly, something that we've just experienced ourselves again. So we've been doing network marketing for, it'll be 15 years next month. And shortly after we got involved, we were encouraged to start doing our own team call. And it was premature for us looking back because we weren't full time yet, but we were encouraged to do it. And the person that told me, well, the person was a corporate person. So there's a lesson. The corporate folks, sometimes will tell you things that are they're obviously their opinion, but I'm going to tell you that the field leaders that are helping you build your teams, I would, in hindsight, I would have gone to them. I should have gone to them and talked to them before I did what I did 14 years ago. But nevertheless, we did it. And we were doing a call every Sunday. We did a call every Sunday. It was like at 8 or 8:30 for like 8 to 9 years. Every Sunday. I mean, Super Bowl Sunday, every Sunday we did it. Um, and it was a huge part of our success. Huge part. People from all over were on those calls. And that communication was absolutely just, I can't stress how important that weekly communication was to the team. And then as technology crept in, we started leveraging some of that. We started using video conferencing, video chats. Can't remember right now what the first one was. It'll maybe come to me in a second. But of course, we've got Zoom now. So here's the point in your weekly communication to your team, because I believe we call ours a huddle, our community huddle, our weekly huddle, where we get together, we do interviews, we update people on the latest things that are going on, we give them tips on how to build their business, we give them some personal growth thoughts for the week. We do a bunch of stuff in the huddle, but it's a weekly thing that people gather together to get what they need for the week. Um, we've bounced back and forth over the last 5, 6 years with technology, leveraging technology, meaning we were using many times pre recorded videos that would play at a certain time. So they looked live, but they were not live. And the reason we did it, I'll tell you, is because as your organization grows, there's more demand on your time. And for us, international travel is part of our schedules, and our teams are international. So you got all these different time zones where you're working with people from all over the world. So you're spread more thin, is what I'm saying, as a leader building a big organization. So it's natural to start looking for technology to leverage so that you can be in two or three places at one time. So we were doing that. And I just got the feeling that the team was connected, but not connected, if you know what I mean. And we made a switch again back to live, like live in person, not pre recorded. And I just told the team, listen, it's not going to always be polished. It's not going to always be in my office, but we're going to go live. And you guys, it has been so awesome. Attendance has nearly tripled what it was when we were pre-recording and just broadcasting into a Facebook group. That's what we were doing. And so I'm going to tell you that if you are doing weekly calls for your team, it's better, in my opinion, if you do it live. Do it live is better than pre-recorded. It sends the right message to the team. Yes, it is a time commitment. There is sacrifice. But at the end of the day, if you guys want freedom, you're going to, once you reach it, let's say this, once you are building the team and you've got the residual leverage income coming in, it's worth the time for you once a week, no matter where you are in the world, to sit down and talk to the team. Just take it as like it's just part of what you're going to do. And maybe some of you are like, I don't know if I want to do that. Well, I'm just telling you the alternative is you may never get the business you ever wanted in your network marketing opportunity. Like when you signed up and you saw these other leaders and they had the income and the lifestyle you wanted, I'm telling you that you may never reach that unless you're making sacrifices. And sometimes the sacrifice is your time, right? Most of the time the sacrifice is your time. And I will tell you that the size of a leader's paycheck is directly related to the size of the sacrifices they're making for their team. And so I knew this, and I just, I had this voice in the back of my head. We've gone back live and it has been tremendous. I'm enjoying it. It's fun. There's a vibe there. It's awesome. So I hope, guys, this podcast is landing well with you guys, because communication is key. If you're not communicating frequently enough, the team will get distracted. Their batteries will start to be drained. They need to be plugging into you. And sometimes, if they're not hearing from you, they start to think the worst for some reason. Like, the saying, no news is good news. Well, that's true in some things. But in network marketing, no news sometimes makes the team crazy. So stay on top of things, stay communicating with the team, leverage technology where you can, as I've told you in this podcast, how I've leveraged technology, but also know that this is a people business. And people need to be communicated with. They need to feel like they're being heard. They need to feel like they're a part of something. Communication is a huge part of your success in this business and building what you want. So be strategic about it, be intentional about it. Maybe go back and listen to this podcast a few times. I've given you some ideas of things that we're doing that have worked. I've kind of been transparent with you on some things that have failed for us, what we've learned from. So please take this seriously, because I think if you do, you're going to see the impact. You're going to see the team start to respond to it. And as you grow, your team is going to see that. They're going to respond to it. And as you build energy, they're going to feed on that energy. And it's a beautiful, beautiful thing. So anyway, thank you guys for being a part of this week's podcast. Make sure you're sharing this on your social media feeds. Take a screenshot of the podcast, or maybe of us here live on the YouTube broadcast. Take a screenshot, put it in your stories, tag us, tag me, and we're going to start giving away some cool stuff for those of you that are doing that, sharing this thing out. We enjoy doing this podcast for you guys, and we are sharing from the heart. We are sharing authentically. And I hope in doing so, it's going to help you guys get exactly what you want out of your business. So see you guys next week. Talk to you later. Bye bye.